Hi, what up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Shout out to everybody. Today we're going through different methods on how to cultivate abundance and wealth and how to use this 888 portal for your advantage. And there's a wide range of different magical, alchemical things that you can do to allow this information to kind of manifest through your experience. What up, Rhonda? How are you doing? Um, for this 888 portal. Um, Whatever you pay attention to, whatever you focus on, it's very important to understand how it affects you. Everything in the realms of magic and alchemy is, how do you get the subconscious mind to move in a particular manner? When we come across these cosmic synchronicities and so called portals and stuff like that, it allows for that information and energy to flow through your consciousness and through your experience on a much higher level. And this is what we're working with. So there's tons of different ways to wrap your head around, how you can do certain practices, certain, meditations, affirmations. Is a wide range of things that you can do in order to take full advantage of this portal. And we're going to be discussing that. How are you guys doing? Do you guys have any? Are you doing anything specific? To take advantage of this. It's a couple different ways to look at this too. One, because it's a cosmic synchronicity, right? That makes it a lot more powerful, but also because there's a lot of people in the collective who are acting upon it too, which gives it a lot more strength. This is a great way how a lot of things manifest into our physical reality. Is just a lot of people just agree upon it, and then boom, it becomes a thing. When we look at the law of manifestation, right? Everything starts from that collective consciousness, the mental realm, right? And the more people that put into that energy, the easier it is for it to manifest into physical reality. And we're all connected, so our belief structures and us just all being tuned into a certain idea or concept can propel and accelerate whatever your belief structure is that's in relation to it, and whatever rituals, whatever ideas you tie to it. So very, very powerful time to be able to take advantage of it. Um, One of my favorite things is, I'm a huge proponent for affirmations. Affirmations are one of the easiest ways to really put information to your subconscious mind and to align yourself to it. But not just the affirmations itself. There's a lot more that goes into it. Your belief about the affirmation. Your subconscious resistance to the affirmation is what um, kind of dictates your success and the failure rate of what you're doing. And it's certain types of psychology we have to address if we want these things to really take place into our reality. One of my favorite books of all time, it's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddles. And going through his type of psychology and understanding how to bring abundance and how to tune your mind into the right frequency so you can experience this connection on a divine level and even the metaphysics of how it functions, I absolutely love. So I'm going to cover a couple of these things too, and I want to know what you guys think about this. So if you've never read the book, I suggest you go through the book. You can check it out on Spotify, on YouTube. It's Wallace D. Waddles, The Science of Getting Rich. This one is actually has all three of his books, which is The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Great, and The Science of Being Well. His first book is The Science of Getting Rich, and we'll go over the conclusions, and then I'll explain a little bit of the metaphysics and how you want to use this information for your own path. Um, so in this, it's called The Science of Getting Rich. And when it comes to the conclusions, it says many people will scoff at the idea that there is an exact science of getting rich, holding the impression that the supply of wealth is limited, and they will insist that social and governmental institutions must be changed before any considerable number of people can acquire a competence. And this book was written literally 120 years ago. And it's funny because there's people that actually think that. What up, say? How you doing? There's people that actually believe that concept, believe that idea that there's something external to you that's stopping you from, generating wealth or becoming rich, or and there's all types of different wealth. But primarily people go into the financial realms and stuff too. But There's nothing external to you that's going to hold you down from achieving whatever you can envision yourself achieving. And I promise you that. You can look at people who have lived a life of poverty and a life of lack. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a belief structure that they have. And nothing in you, consciously or subconsciously, will give you the impetus to act differently or to relate to money differently or to, take, radical ownership for your own experience if you submit yourself to the idea that there's something external from me stopping me from doing this. And many people hold on to that idea and concept. You can look at people that even are, they're in relationships and they say, oh, you're the reason I'm this way. If it wasn't for you, this, and that. And they basically give their power away. Right. So same thing happens when it comes to, generating wealth, when it comes to developing and acquiring, property, whatever it is that you're working on. Taking radical ownership and knowing that there's nothing external from you that can stop you is very, very important. There's not like this limited, amount of money. The government's not trying to hold you down or anything like that. But if you have that type of concept and idea rooted within your belief structures, that's all you're going to see, even though it's not real, you know? And one of the most important aspects to look at is look at, different things that's in relation to that in your own personal life, right? So, like I said, where I'm from, there's a lot of people that hold on to the idea that the man is holding me down and the police are always out to get me and this and that. And I'm not doing anything wrong. And that's what they live by. And everything in their reality reflects that because that's the frequency that they interact with the world. That's the lens in which they view to they view their reality through. But it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be literally everything is working towards my good. It can be literally I'm one with everything that is, and everything within form and out of form is working for my good to bring me exactly what I want. And that's what you will experience. But if you hold on to any negative ideas, concepts, belief structures, that's what you're going to get. You always get what you align to. And most people can't see, if you're experiencing any negative karma, any undesirable experiences. It's very hard in the beginning to see how we are bringing these things upon ourselves. you know we create our own suffering in many, many, many different ways. And if you find yourself in a place in which you think that somebody or something external to you is causing your suffering, I strongly suggest that you take a look at it, because there's nothing external to you causing it unless you're allowing it to, whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whether it's a system, the government, whatever. And we give our power away to all these things, but you are ultimately in control of everything that you experience. Unless somebody has you literally chained up to a bed or you're a literal slave. Other than that, you are ultimately in control of your experience. So coming to that realization and seeing how where you're aligning yourself to certain concepts and ideas and realities is very, very important. But it can be one that is very, very easy. It says the one that sits on his throne in heaven, the Almighty coming soon, repent, ask Christ into your heart. Very interesting. um, and that's a level of consciousness, right? But what does that mean to you? And understanding what Christ consciousness is, and even the teachings of Christ. It's not Jesus in the same way that when they say, the triple gem in Buddhism, where you take refuge in the Buddha, the Sangha, and the Dharma. When they talk about the Buddha, they're not talking about the physical person. When they talk about Christ is within me, they're not talking about the physical person. Christ is a title, a level of consciousness, just like the Buddha is a level of consciousness. It's literally the same thing. It's not a person that they're speaking about. It's a level of consciousness, just like poverty is a level of consciousness. Some people live, the the spirit of poverty is within me, and that's what they live because that's what they tune themselves into, right? So there's levels to it, and it's all different concepts and ideas to tune your mind into, and that light will manifest through your experiences. What up, Dr. Earl? So don't give anything external to you, you know, your power, because it's all about what you pay attention to, your belief structures, right? What you align yourself to. Thank you. And this is what you begin to experience. So, like I said, for this portal, right, this 888 portal, what is it that you want to align yourself to? 8 is tied to abundance, wealth, and aligning yourself to that. So, it's a perfect time to build up relationships, positive relationships, and ideas and concepts, and allowing these certain avenues to open up for you to achieve that. But you have to believe you can do it. You have to see it for yourself. If you can't imagine it for yourself, then there's no way possible that you're going to want to experience it. You can have this idea, oh, I want to be rich. Okay, well, how are you going to do it? How do you see yourself experiencing it? Can you envision it? Because if not, then there's no pathways for it to come into your reality. So I'm going to go through this book a little bit more, and I'm not going through the whole book. I'm just going through the concluding observations, right? Like lieutenant, captain, sergeant, Christ, or Buddha are ranks of ascension. Yes, that's exactly what they are. Christ consciousness, right? The Buddha mind, they're relatively the same thing. Jesus Christ was teaching literally the same thing that historical Buddha was teaching. Literally the same ways as different types of psychology to achieve the same level of liberation within your spirit, so you can achieve the kingdom of heaven, which is mental. Your spirit is free and released of all the different lower realms. And that's why, even who was it, Peter, that said that Christ lives within me, the kingdom of Christ, the Christ consciousness. So I experience it through my physical reality. And this is what we're working with. And like your physical reality, right, even your spiritual and even the astral reality is based off of the ideas and concepts, the things that you align yourself to, and the things that you stick to, and things you release, right? So like I said, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to how much money you can acquire, and like the successes that you have in your life, the only thing that's going to dictate that is your belief structure about it, right? Your ability to see yourself obtaining the things that you have envisioned, right? And your willingness to act upon it mentally, astrally, physically. Thoughts, the emotional belief structures, the physical action. Those are the three different realms that you're working with, and you have to align each one to that specific idea and concept. Believe you can do it, and physically allow those doorways to open up. You cannot sit in your room, pray to God, and be like, "Oh my God, this is going to happen. I just want all this wealth to come to me." You just sit in your room and nothing's happening. You're not doing anything. There's no way possible that you can create the pathways for that just to happen to you. Peter achieved the mental spiritual Christ ranking and expression that Christ is in him. Yeah, exactly. The atmosphere feels so weird today. I don't feel real. It's because of the portal. Yeah, and you're not the only person to say that to me today. Says peace to the goddesses and peace to the gods. Oh, for sure, for sure. So, you know, like I said, the frequency of your mind. This is a big part of what I teach in ascension and hermetic alchemy and magic and everything else, is understanding the three bodies, understanding the concepts, the ideas, the labels in which you align yourself to, because this is what you're going to experience. Now, to take full advantage of this portal, right? Literally tune your mind into what it is that you want to bring. And I'm going to listen, we're going to go through, I'm going to read these last two pages, and we're going to cover this. And this is through Wallace D. Waddles, The Science of Getting Rich, right? And this more so covers the type of psychology you have to have in order to achieve wealth, because there's a direct science of becoming wealthy. And if you stick to the science, it will happen to you. And this is like beyond the metaphysical aspects. um but we're going to cover it, and I want you guys to kind of let me know what you think about it. I'm going to share my ideas and experiences in relation to this. So number one, people believe that there is a limited supply of wealth. People that live in poverty consciousness, oh my God, there's not enough. Or somebody else is already doing it. If I do it, I'll never be successful, and all this other stuff, and that's simply just not real. It's not real. But if you tell yourself things like that are real, that's what you're going to experience. You'll have no conscious or subconscious action, belief structure, or anything else that will allow you to see anything different. So once again, your belief structure about, what is out there and what is achievable is very, very important. Realize that everything is infinite. life is infinite. The experiences you have are infinite. There's not this finite thing that you're just bound to, this box in which you can only experience within your hometown and being exactly who and what you are right here right now. No, you know, you can expand your awareness, you can expand your belief structures, you can expand the quality of life and how liberated your experience becomes. It's you that sets up that those perimeters. You create your own box. But you have to be able to look at the box in order to transcend and to ascend beyond your own limitations, right? um so He says, is it true that existing governments keep the masses in poverty? But this is because the masses do not think and act in a certain way. If the masses begin to move forward, as suggested in this book, neither governments nor industrial systems can check them. All systems must be modified to accommodate the forward movement, meaning the evolution of the whole, right? And if the people have the advancing mind, have faith that they can become rich and move forward with the fixed purpose to become rich, nothing can possibly keep them in poverty. One of the things I want everybody to realize, some of the most wealthiest people in the world's history started in poverty, and I mean that. The majority of people, have built whole systems, corporations that are still thriving today, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, even 50, 40 years ago, whatever. Most of them started being dirt poor. So don't think that, oh, you have to be born with it. There's many, many people, the countless numbers of people throughout the entire world that grew up dirt poor without anything handed to them and then became overwhelmingly rich. So you can do it too. So don't think that there's something outside of you that can stop you from doing that. Because if you hold on to that belief, you're going to just be holding on to a delusion, and that's going to stop you from achieving whatever it is you wish to achieve. There's not a limited supply of anything. All right, so I'm going to continue. It says individuals may enter upon the certain way at any time and under any government and make themselves rich. And when any considerable number of individuals do so under any government, they will cause the system to be so modified as to open the way for others. The more men who get rich on the competitive plane, the worse for others. The more who get rich on the creative plane, the better for others. The economic salvation of the masses can only be accomplished by getting a large number of people to practice the scientific method set down in this book and become rich. These will show others the way and inspire them with a desire for real life, with the faith that it can be attained, and with the purpose to attain it. What up, Jake? Happy Lionscape to you too. So, what this is saying is, so there's different, ideas and concepts when it comes to commerce and making money, right? So you can look at any businesses or industries that are built off competition, like purely competition. These are industries and companies and stuff like that that are bound to fail because the whole foundation of it is I have to compete against something else. I have to be battling against something else. And then it's going to become a point that literally something is going to overcome you because you're not a creator, you're a competitor. I'm trying to compete with this thing no matter what it is. You're in this dualistic battle, and as society advances, technology advances, humanity advances, somebody's going to come along with a far greater level of advancement than you and then compete for you and then push you out the way. Whereas if you become a creator, right? And on the creative plane, you're creating new systems. You're a creator. You're not competing against anybody through creation, which is the universe is founded upon creation. If you are engaging with the act of creation and solely operating on that plane, you cannot be stopped. You just continue to create. And the better you get at creating, the more wealth you can obtain because you're just creating. There's nothing to compete with, you know, and the better off, society will be. Also in that passage, right? Understanding that people that live in poverty, right, people that live in a poverty mindset, that live in slums and the ghettos and stuff like that, you cannot help those people by giving them money. You can help them eat for a day, for a week, whatever, but to truly help them, you must inspire them to become wealthy, to get out of that poverty consciousness, to know that they can achieve it too. And the best way to do that is for you to show by example. right? And I've been homeless before, right? I've been in the slums. I'm from the ghetto, so I see it firsthand. I have plenty of people I grew up with that still live in the ghetto, and their mindset is everything around me is holding me down. They live in this poverty mindset. They have no, belief that, oh, I can achieve this, and it's a state of mind. The only way that you can help people that stuck in that is to give them thoughts of advancement. If they can see you do it, oh wow, they can do it. I can do it too. So becoming a creator and inspiring those who don't believe to see that is possible, and there's nothing external to you that's holding you down or holding you back or trying to keep you in poverty. But if once again, if you stay stuck to that idea, to that concept, then that's what you're going to experience, and nothing in you consciously or subconsciously is going to give you the thoughts or actions or feelings to act any differently. So that's very important to look at. Continuing. Thank you guys for the follows too. If y'all have any questions about this, let me know what y'all think about this. This is open for discussion, and I have plenty of insight, plenty of understanding, plenty of things I want to cover as we're going through this. I'm only going through a couple pages. This is like actually the concluding observations when it comes to this book. I'm going through. It is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, where he covers the correct attitude, belief structure, the frequency of your thoughts and actions to become rich. And it's a direct science on being able to do it. And if you can follow this, then you will become rich, right? So any concepts, questions, concerns, anything that you have in relation to this, please share. And like I said, I'm most definitely going to share mine too. Um, so, for the present, however, it is enough to know that neither the government under which you live nor the capitalistic or competitive system of industry can keep you from getting rich. When you enter upon the creative plane of thought, you will rise above all these things and become a citizen of another kingdom. But remember that your thought must be held upon the creative plane. You are never for an instant to be betrayed into regarding the supply as limited or acting on the moral level of competition. So remember that the frequency of your mind, right? The frequency of your mind. It's a literal realm. Your mind is essentially like a radio tuner. It's a transmitter and a receiver. So whatever you tune this radio antenna, you have literal crystals in your pineal gland where your spirit sits itself, right? And whatever you tune it to, that's what you're going to experience. Now, if you're on this creative plane and everything, this realm in which everything is working in your favor, then that's how you relate to everything, and everything will literally be working in your favor. If you're in the competitive plane, you're dropping down into this realm of dualism and competition, and that's what you're going to experience. The people that's part of that realm, you're going to encounter them. They're going to interact with you. They're going to compete with you. But if you're in this creative oneness plane, this more non-dual light type of realm, then that's what your life becomes. Literally, everything and everybody, you know, will literally be working for your favor. All your experiences will reflect that, because that's the realm, the frequency of your mind and your belief structures, the astral and mental realm in which you're tuning into. So I know in this book he doesn't go really deep into the metaphysical principles. He's just telling you, look, do this and watch what happens. Document it. I promise you, it will work. So I'm more so, kind of sharing my insights and understanding on using this type of psychology in your quest to develop wealth and to enrich your life and the lives of the people around you, because it's important to understand your power and not to give that power away, especially today. You know, so say I see you ask like, what is the Lionsgate portal? Lionsgate portal started like a week ago and it runs until I think August 12th. Cosmic synchronicities every year, I think about this time. And it's a time where you can allow a lot of powerful things into your experience. It's a lot easier for the mind to build bridges through the mental astral into your physical experience. So I know a lot of you have experienced over the last week, crazy synchronicities, lots of synchronicities to a very, very high degree, because it's a cosmic synchronicity, and shift. Yeah. And then, what you pay attention to, how you pay attention to it, your psychology and how you address it. And the more you are in resonance with the principles of how to work with these energies, the easier everything becomes, the easier it all comes. So that's why I'm covering this. That's why I'm sharing this. Because it's super duper powerful, super duper powerful. Um, so I'm going to continue to read this, and like I said, let me know what you think. And today is 888. Eight is the number of abundance. 888. It's August 8th, 2024, which adds up to eight. So it's also infinite abundance. So perfect time to tune into this and understand how to tune into it, so you can allow those gateways and pathways to open up a lot easier. So, going back into this, whenever you do fall into old ways of thought, correct yourself instantly, for when you are in the competitive mind, you have lost the cooperation of the mind of the whole, or infinite intelligence, or God, right? Do not spend any time planning as to how you will meet possible emergencies in the future, except as the necessary policies may affect your actions today. You are concerned with doing today's work in a perfectly successful manner and not with emergencies which may arise tomorrow. You can attend to them as they come. Now, this is a very important type of psychology when it comes to building wealth and understanding your karmic stream, because if you plan for a rainy day, you can really, really be assured that that rainy day is going to come. You always get what you sign up for. Whatever you subconsciously believe is going to happen, and then you act upon it mentally, astrally, especially physically, that's what you're going to get. Always. Always. That's how things manifest into your life. So as you're on this quest, the more you prepare, oh my God, this negative thing is going to happen. And this and that, I bet you is going to happen. You can look at your own personal experience, even in the past, before I started this level of my journey. I always knew, like, no matter what, I would never be placed up against anything I cannot handle. And you won't either, but even through times in which it seemed like things were really dark, and all types of interesting things were going to happen, I always knew, okay, there's a way out, and that everything is going to work out just the way it's supposed to, and always did, without doing anything drastic, without going through a deep sense of worry, or oh my God, we're out in the streets and we can't eat or anything like that. Never got to that point, you know. So your faith and your belief structures, your labeling of how you engage your experience, and what you prepare for, that's what you get. If you prepare for success and wealth and happiness, guess what? That's what you get. But if you prepare for sickness and despair and strife, guess what? That's what you're going to get. And it's a subconscious alignment. You're aligning yourself to those things. All your thoughts, feelings, and actions will put you in that right place and right time, because that's the station in which you're dwelling in. That's the realm in which you're interacting with. So very, very important. It says, what about things like life insurance? Once again, your psychology and your relationship to it matters. Are you using it because, oh no, this horrible thing is going to happen to me, or okay, this is so when it is time for me to go, or whatever. It's an investment in my future. Two completely different types of psychology. You know, um, self-fulfilling prophecy is very powerful. Self-fulfilling prophecy is very, 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 very powerful. So never underestimate that. Makes me think of doomsday preppers. Yeah. And even when things aren't, in doomsday, if any slight thing happened, they're going to view it through that lens, and oh my God, the world is ending. And, they'll, all types of weird stuff will start happening. All right. So um, I'm going to continue this, and let me know what you guys think. It says, do not concern yourself with questions as to how you shall surmount obstacles which may loom upon your business horizon, unless you can see plainly that your course must be altered today in order to avoid them. No matter how tremendous an obstruction may appear at a distance, you will find that if you go on in a certain way, it will disappear as you approach it, or that a way over, through, or around it will appear. No possible combination of circumstances can defeat a man or woman who is proceeding to get rich along strictly scientific lines. No man or woman who obeys the law can fail to get rich, any more than one can multiply two by two and fail to get four. Um, this book is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. It's about 100 or so years old, and it's a direct science on how to get rich and how to focus your mind, your belief structures in order to align yourself to it. He doesn't go super deep into the metaphysical principles or practices or whatever. Just follow it, document it, and I'll guarantee you, if you follow it, this is how it's going to manifest for you. Ever since I got this book, because one of my teachers recommended it to me. Whenever there's a need for money, it always flows. I promise you that. And now I'm taking it to the wealth aspect. So that book changed my perspective after I read it. Yeah, and like I said, you'll see it in your physical everyday life and how your psychology and the frequency of your mind and your relationship to external things, how it affects your experience. This is very, very powerful. So I'm going to continue. Says, give no anxious thought to possible disasters, obstacles, panics, or unfavorable combinations of circumstances. It is time enough to meet such things when they present themselves before you in the immediate present, and you will find that every difficulty carries with it wherewithal for its overcoming. Everything, everything. Guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or of anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Never admit the possibility of failure or speak in a way that infers failure as a possibility. Never speak of the times as being hard or of business conditions of being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful for those who are on the competitive plane, but they can never be so for you. You can create what you want, and you are above fear. When others are having hard times and poor business, you will find great opportunities. Um, this I know to be true in many, 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 many different ways. And like I said, um, one of the things that I've realized through, especially going through, different businesses and trying different things, is like, you can engage in the very same business as somebody that's right next door to you, and that person could be dirt poor and fail at it, where you can do the literal same thing and gain great abundance doing it. So never think because of somebody else's experience that you're going to have that same experience. You don't have the same relationship to your reality, spiritually, astrally, physically. You do not have the same reality and same relationship to all that is as the person next to you. So you can never really take other people's ideas or perspectives, their experience, and make it your own. Because once you do, then you're aligning yourself to that subconsciously. And I hear that all the time. And especially people who are in this pessimistic state, they'll be like, well, you know, so and so did this and they did this, they failed at it, and the world is this crazy place, and all these other weird concepts and ideas. But the moment you accept that, then you have just sealed your karma and your fate to align yourself to that outcome, to that realm. This is why it's very important to, understand yourself, know your power. Don't give your power away to these external things and what other people believe and things like that, because the astral is a belief based thing. How you experience your physical reality is a belief based thing. The outcomes, the karma, how limited your life is, how liberated and free your life is a belief based thing, and it can be whatever you want it to be. So don't take on other people's beliefs or anything like that unless it serves you, you know, and know that whatever you take on as a truth, your subconscious mind is going to make sure that you see it as a truth, even though it may not be. So really analyze that. As I always say, that's not my story. That's beautiful. What up, Tracy? How you doing? I'm doing absolutely amazing. I am once again going through the conclusion of Wallace D. Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich. Is one of my favorite books. This type of psychology and understanding will change your life. The more you live up to it, I promise you, it is very, very beautiful. To be able to understand it and to align yourself to it, and it's life changing. It's really, really life changing. Um, so I'm going to continue. And once again, if anybody has any other questions or anything, feel free to share your input. It says a student of the science had set in his mind on making a certain business combination, which seemed to him at the time to be very desirable. And he worked for some weeks to bring it about. When the crucial time came, the thing failed in a perfectly inexplicable way. It was as if some unseen influence had been working secretly against him. He was not disappointed. On the contrary, he thanked God that his desire had been overruled and would steadily on with a grateful mind. In a few weeks, an opportunity so much better came his way that he would not have made the first deal on any account. And he saw that a mind which knew more than he knew had prevented him from losing the greater good by entangling himself with the lesser. So, this is a very, very, very important thing to look at because a lot of things that we go through, right? So understanding the science of the mind, right? So this is a big part of what I teach in hermetics and metaphysics and understanding the different levels of consciousness. You know, God being infinite intelligence, right? Or as Wallace D. Waddle says, as formless substance, which permeates all things, right? So as we're navigating through life, there's certain things that we'll go through to help us cross certain bridges of understanding and bridges of experience. And you may be really, really happy, oh, I'm working towards this thing, and then it doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out. It's not because, oh no, you're a failure, or the world is against you, or God is against you, or anything like that. No, you go through it so you can learn, you can cross those bridges of understanding. Certain things you go through just so you can be in the right place, the right time, to have the right perspective, so when that greater thing comes that's beyond your even level of comprehension, you have the know with how, you have the understanding, you have the gratitude to see it, grasp it, and to work with it, and to be a great steward of it. So understanding that, it's kind of like that thing of, I know you heard the saying, like, I'm happy things, as a teenager didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, because I would have been in some stupid place. Yeah, to appreciate it wholeheartedly, yes. And like I said, your psychology, when you engage your experiences, when you engage life, is for me, that all things visible and invisible are always working towards my good, and it always is. And the outcomes are always beautiful. And I mean that, always, always. And the more you can allow your mind to wrap around that, the more you'll see it in your own experiences. You'll see it through your own life. And then you can even look at past experiences. Oh, yeah, I see how I went through that. And I engaged this certain thing so I can be in this right place, right time. And that led me to, boom, the right path. Because a lot of times we'll engage in something that's not meant for us, and that's okay. But if you're willing and open, and knowing that even if that thing fails, okay, cool, it means there's something greater that's coming, and then to put you in that right place in that right time, you know, and understand that you can never lose something that's meant for you. One of my favorite Florence Scovel Shinn quotes is literally, if it's mine, I can't lose it. And if it's not, I don't want it. So having that type of psychology and understanding how it functions is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. So I suggest that everybody take a look at that, and even contemplate past experiences where you've experienced the same. What up, Jessica? How you doing? So I'm going to continue. It says, that is the way every seeming failure will work out for you. If you keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and do every day all that can be done that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. When you make a failure, it is because you have not asked for enough. Keep on, and a larger thing than you were seeking will certainly come to you. Remember this. That is a very important thing to see. How do you know what is yours? Um, is being blocked. Why would you think it's being blocked? You know, we have this idea and concept that we need this right here and right now. My life would be so much better if I had this right here and right now. Why aren't I in this castle right here and right now? Right. And you might hold on to that, and that belief, and things are being blocked. But like I said, in order for us to cross the proper bridges, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to sit your butt down and not do anything. Literally, it's a time where you need to rest, where your mind might be racing. Oh my God, I need this. Got to do that. I got to save the world. I got to make sure I'm, whatever. When everything else in your reality is telling you, Stay your butt at home and sit down. It's the most efficient, powerful thing you can do is to rest right now. And you will get the greatest benefit not doing anything. Right. And then there's times where literally you can work yourself to the bone and get no results whatsoever. There's a time and a place. And the more that you build these connections and you begin to understand your relationship to all that is an infinite intelligence or formless substance, as Wallace D. Wattles calls it, right? And the more you begin to see how things manifest and, what's the most efficient time to act upon it. For those of you in the course, this begins to speak to you on a much deeper level because you'll feel it. Like I said, when it's time for you to act upon something, it's going to feel good. You're going to think clearly about it. You're going to physically want to get up and do it. And you're going to have a huge success in doing it. But if you literally feel drained and oh my God, I don't want to move, sit down, sit your butt down. Your spirit, your astral body, your soul, your physical environment is telling you, sit your butt down. It's the best thing you can be doing right now. But like I said, if you force yourself to do something, a lot of times you'll find that it's a wasted time and energy. You're not going to get the outcome, and then you might come into that type of psychology. Oh my God, something's blocking me, or something's stopping me. Whatever it is, you know so listening to your inner guidance, listening to your body, listening to that listening energy we talk about, that's a big part of what you're developing as you're building more connections through the mental, through the astral, through the physical, the infinite intelligence, God, your environment, the universe can relay information to you on a much deeper level and listen to it. That's why we're going through all the training. So you are directly connected and you have a deeper level of intuitive insight into what you're experiencing. Like I said, sometimes you need to sit your butt down. Yes, it's okay to stay at home and sit in bed all day if that's the best possible thing, because tomorrow you might be working nonstop for 12 hours straight. And if you try to do that today when it's not supposed to, tomorrow you're going to be beat. Oh my God, the world is beating me down. So listen to it, do today's work today, and do it well. Don't worry about tomorrow's work. Do today's work today, whatever that may be. And, the more you tap into your intuition, the more you train yourself to be sensitive to it, you know, right time, right place, right outcome. Always, always. So just wanted to share that. So I'm going to continue. Says you will not fail because you lack the necessary talent to do what you wish to do. If you go on as I have directed, you will develop all the talent that is necessary to doing of your work. It is not within the scope of this book to deal with the science of cultivating talent, but it is as certain and simple as the process of getting rich. However, do not hesitate or waver for fear that when you come to any certain place, you will fail for lack of ability. Keep right on, and when you come to that place, the ability will be furnished to you. The same source of ability which enabled the untaught Lincoln to do the greatest work in government ever accomplished by a single man is open to you. You may draw upon the mind. There is for wisdom to use in meeting the responsibilities which are laid upon you. And that's directly related to what I was just saying. When things, you know, seemingly are undesirable is for you to cross those bridges, for you to gain the proper level of awareness and to be in the right place, right time, right mindset for you to meet your successes. But if you engage those same experiences with a type of negativity, then that's what you're bringing about to yourself instead of seeing how it's all related and how you're going towards your intentions and your goals. There's many people that block their own blessings because as those blessings are coming, they're not, they're not content with what they have and where they're going, or don't have gratitude for what they're experiencing, and they literally block themselves. Subconsciously, they think, "Oh, everything is just going, down the drain," and that's the way that they experience it, even though they themselves are blocking their own blessings instead of allowing nature to take its course. You know, so once again, everything in the visible and invisible worlds is working towards my good always. It's never the opposite. Everything. So it's putting that out there. I'm going to continue. Um, says go on in full faith, study this book, make it your constant companion until you have mastered all the ideas contained in it. While you're getting firmly established in this faith, you will do well to give up most recreations and pleasure, and to stay away from places where ideas conflicting with these are advanced in lectures or sermons. Do not read pessimistic or conflicting literature or get into arguments upon the matter. Do very little reading outside of the writers mentioned in this preface. Spend most of your leisure time in contemplating your vision and in cultivating gratitude. And in reading this book, it contains all you need to know of the science of getting rich, and you will find all the essentials summed up in the following chapter. So this is something too, we kind of covered this earlier. It's like when you engage in anything, any type of gossip, any pessimistic talk, any of these things, and you're putting your time and energy and combining it with others, and it's going to manifest in your life a lot quicker. Literally, just like Jesus said, right? Whenever two or more people agree upon the same thing, it should be done, right? So even if it's BS, even if it's not real, even, oh my God, the man is against us. Well, that's what you're going to experience. You just magnetize that to your astral body and belief structure and your physical experience. So and for everybody that's in the course too, we go through the idea when we're cultivating certain frequencies, when we're working with the different Kabbalistic letters and alchemical formulas or whatever it is we're working on. We have like the 100-hour challenge. Anything that the mind focuses upon for about 100 hours of good concentration, it just becomes a part of your spirit. So that's what he means by, in your free time, focus on these ideas, these concepts. Allow that to become a part of your psyche and to be ingrained, so to the point where you no longer have to think about it. It's just a built-in part of your experience. And that's how it works. It's very, very powerful. But a lot of people are, caught up in social media world or gossip world or drama world or pessimism worlds and realms. And that's what they experience because that's what they allow their mind to rest upon. And then they get together with other people, and then that energy just multiplies together because they're putting their time and effort and minds and energy together to build a certain fabrication within their experience. But it could be whatever you want it to be. It could be whatever you want it to be. And the same principle applies, especially when it comes to building wealth. You know, does the 100-hour challenge correlate to the 10,000-hour rule of mastering something? To a degree. To a degree. So what do you guys think about this? So I'm going to do, this is the summary of the entire thing. All right. And we're going to cover this. All right. So in the summary, it says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now, this is in reference to the Akasha, infinite intelligence, the universal mind, formless substance, in which permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe, God, essentially. This is why the first principle in Hermetics, I cover this a lot, is the principle of mentalism. The entire universe is mind. God being the mind of the universe. And there's two aspects to God. It's this formless, aspect, and then the form aspect. The formless aspect is what permeates all things, the Akasha, as some people have named it, right? But this is the intelligence of the entire universe. When they say we're made in God's image, right? We have the same creative capabilities as infinite intelligence. You can think your way into anything. You can create that karmic stream. There's not many things in this physical realm. There's no other things that has that same capacity as you with this physical human body. There's nothing else in this physical realm that has the same capacity to do that. There's no other living being that has the ability to become whatever it wants to become. So take advantage of it and realize that. Understand this principle. And the more you can align yourself to it, the more you begin to see and understand exactly what it means that, your thoughts create your reality. It's really, really deep. Whatever you frequently think, the frequency of your thoughts, your enchantment, the inner talk of your mind, in within chant, talk, meant mind, the inner talk of your mind that you're constantly vibrating frequently through the Akasha, through formless substance. That's what you experience. because that's what you're putting out there. That's what you're constantly tuning yourself into. And it's very, very powerful the more that you can control that. That's where meditation comes in, where your mind becomes still and you begin to have more control over it and begin to understand and bring the mind into stillness, the emotions into stillness, and have a lot more control over your karmic stream. And you can see the things that bring negative experiences and negative karmic streams into your life. Um, but you can use it for your benefit. Is formless substance consciousness? No, formless substance is awareness itself. The essence of your spirit is awareness. And it's kind of like so formless substance is space, akasha, ether, your etheric body, your akashic nature. That's the essence of your spirit, which is a vibrational match to God, right? Now, from that formless substance comes light. That's why I say, let there be light, right? And where you come in, right, is the awareness of that light, right? It's the awareness of that light. And we're looking at, Brahma, Shiva, and Shakti, or zero, one, and two. And it takes all three of those to create a physical plane. There's emptiness, there's space, there is awareness of that space in order to make a 3D reality. You know, so these are the concepts that we're looking at and ideas that we're working with. So what about emotions? Now, your emotions, that's your astral aspect. That is tied to your Shakti, as we say in the yogic traditions or Hindu traditions, is your awareness of the light, which is your belief structure, of that light that you're interacting with, your labeling system, your relationship to time and space, the limitations in which you place upon your awareness of the light. That's all your astral body stuff, and your belief structures are tied to your emotions. And this is how you view the light of your mind and your physical experiences through that. That's why it's very important to have control over that and to make sure that your belief structures and your emotions are working in your favor. And you're always keeping them in the place where you're getting to where you want to go to. Very, very important. You can do all the affirmations and magical spells and everything else, but if you are not emotionally grounded or have the belief structures that this thing is going to come true, then it won't happen. Everything within the realm of magic and alchemy and everything else is literally, how do you get the subconscious mind to hold on to a concept and an idea and implant it in your subconscious? That's what the spiritual realm is. The mental and astral realms, that's your subconscious. So that's what you're working with. And your belief structures are what is the filter in which you experience it. So if you can change your thought and emotions, you can your frequency, then change your life. Yes. Now there's methods of doing this. There's plenty of methods of doing this. Like for me, I teach a whole course in exactly how you do it. First you have to get separation between the observing mind and what the mind is observing. That observing aspect, that's where you want to be. That's what you're cultivating. You want to be able to engage your experience without attaching to everything. If you haven't developed the level of separation and control through your senses, through your hearing gate, your yes, through meditation, then there's different types of meditations. There's thousands of different types of meditation. But the first meditation that we do in hermetics is literally separating the observing mind from the observed. And this creates more space between your mind and what you're observing. Through each one of your senses, you gain a type of concentration and stillness through each one, where you can control the information in which reaches your consciousness. Most people don't have that level of control, and whatever is in their environment, they take it on, and that's how they view life. That's why so many people, that they hear something, oh my God, that's true. So and so said this, that's true. And it creates this karmic stream which they experience it. Now, when you start developing higher levels of concentration, you can stop that flow of information. The six gates, we have the five senses and then the mind itself. These are the gates into your consciousness, the gates into your spirit, in which information consciousness flows and leaves an imprint on you and creates this karmic stream in the formless substance of the akasha of your being. And that's how we experience life. So through different types of meditation, you're developing mental spiritual strength so you can control the information that comes into your awareness and creates that karma, because it affects you in much deeper ways than I can even verbalize. But through developing yourself, you gain a type of awareness and control where your life becomes pretty much what you want it to become, and you can change it in any way possible. It's literally infinite, you know. If you have any other questions, please let me know. This is what I'm here for. I'm going to continue reading this book. We're going through this 888, Lionsgate portal. And for this, I have this workshop next month. It's September 12th through the 19th in Sedona, and um, we're going through Initiation into Hermetics, which is an awesome book. As a matter of fact, I think I have it right here. That's so funny. It's Initiation into Hermetics. And this is written by Franz Barden, where it gives a bunch of practices and things like that on how to develop yourself. You cannot take the entire book literal because it's literally meant to put you in resonance with somebody who fully understands it, and you'll find a teacher or somebody that fits your style of learning, and then you'll end up practicing with them and then developing yourself to a very high level. You're literally training your psychic abilities and cultivating the kasha, right? When it comes to the Kabbalion is the seven Hermetic principles, which they're universal principles. So whatever level you're at, you can take that information and use it to your good. Primarily, it's when it applies to Hermetic alchemy and Hermetic magic. That's what the principles are for. But a lot of people say these are the laws of the universe and this and that, to a degree, but primarily it's how do you engage that when developing yourself in Hermetic alchemy and Hermetic magic. So highly valuable, putting those two together. But to fully understand it, you have to develop your level of awareness. You have to develop your spirit, because most spiritual knowledge is a product of the spirit. It's not a product of the intellect. So you can read as many books as you would like. You can listen to as many lectures as you would like. But if you're not doing correct practice, so you can go through the experience to build those bridges of understanding. It may mean something to you, and it probably won't mean what it truly is supposed to mean to you. You know, and it's kind of like taste. Everything that you've ever tasted is a product of the spirit. It's not a product of the intellect. You cannot give somebody a taste. You cannot give somebody what an apple tastes like. You can describe it with as many adjectives as possible. It's not possible for you to give somebody what an apple tastes like. It's a product of the spirit. You have to experience it. You taste an apple. That's how higher spiritual knowledge functions. So as you develop yourself and develop higher levels of awareness, all the universal knowledge begins to make more and more sense. You begin to cross those bridges so you can use that level of understanding to enrich your life and to enrich the lives of the people around you. And life becomes completely, a lot easier. You'll be able to look at, religions and different spiritual practices and teachings and science and understand it on the level that you literally cannot without crossing those bridges of spiritual experience, you know and then that's the important thing. That's why I teach what I teach. That's why I host retreats and workshops. Why teach this course and everything is so I can give people functional ways to practice and develop themselves so they can cross those bridges and develop higher levels of experience and awareness. And it's life changing. It's beautiful. So everything is on a frequency, and we just need to match the frequency of the thing we want. Um, to a degree, I mean that is not as simple as that, because it's a lot of different things. So it's like aligning the three bodies. This is why I love this book, and this is why I'm going through this book too, right? Because we have three different, realms in which we are interacting with all the time. We are a mental, astral, physical being, and they're all tied together. We have our mental body, which is our spirit, our astral body, which is our soul. We have our physical body. We experience the physical realm with our physical organs, our physical body. We experience the astral realms with our astral emotional body. We experience the mental realm with our mind, with our spirit, right? And in order for you to experience anything in this lifetime, with intention, you have to align each body. If you can have this idea, everybody has the idea, I need to be rich. Not everybody has the belief structures that's going to get them there. They're not aligned. That's why the whole, my whole channel is aligned to your highest, right? Aligned to the highest part of your being, so everything can, get on board with, certain concepts. So everything just becomes easy. But like I said, people who are out of alignment are people that work jobs, for years and years and years, and they say, "Oh, I hate this job. I need to leave it," and they're still there. because mentally they think they don't want to be there, right? They even emotionally they can feel, okay, cool, I gotta leave. But also they feel and believe that they can't, or it's scary. And then physically, they don't align their physical body to the actions that are going to get them out of there. But if you align yourself mentally, I got this. Astrally, I know for a fact this is where I'm going. Everything's working in my favor. And then physically, you act upon it. Boom, you get there. You have to align the three bodies. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm just matching this vibration." You have to align to it completely. It's not just I just pay attention to it. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. And like I say, your belief structures play a very, very big part in what you experience, how you experience it, how you relate to it. You know. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. So I'm going to continue this too. So um and this is a summary of this book, right? It says, so what should we be doing if you're in that place? What should you be doing if you're in that place and you want to overcome it? Develop yourself. You have to develop a stronger mind, a stronger spirit. And you want to start with the mind first because you cannot make change from the bottom up. It's very, very hard to make change from the bottom up or from the top down. Remember the law of manifestation. Everything starts from the mental plane, it branches down into the astral, and then it becomes a physical thing. And physical people, physical things is what brings it into the physical realm. But it starts mental and then it becomes the astral and then branches down. So it's really easy to make change from up here. It's way easier to do that than from the bottom. Nobody loses weight from being obese from, just working out. They have to believe they can do it. They have to astrally take on, they have to want it. They have to want it, and then they physically take the action because mentally and astrally they're in alignment. Cool, I got this. This is where I'm going. You can't just be like, oh my God, the whole world is against me. I'm depressed and everything else, and think that physically you're just going to go to the gym and be knocking out, workouts every day. It doesn't work that way. So mentally, you train your mind. You train the strength of your mind. It says align and release resistance. Yeah. So in the way that I teach it, in the course is like the first we're training each one of the bodies like equally. But there's a purification process that happens. You have to purify your chi, purify your belief structure. So, you go from your personified view of reality to a more universal view of reality. Everybody experiences their personified belief about how reality functions, and there's no real level of truth. There's different levels of truth, and whatever you take on as a truth, that's how you experience, and that's how everybody experiences their life. Some people are stuck to lower truths and delusions and things that are literally just not real, and that's what they experience because that's what they stick to. So we're going through this purification process. That's where the alchemy takes place, where you can see your own astral stuff, and then you make changes accordingly. And the more you can purify your astral chi, the more your spirit can have expression. Literally, the higher part of you becomes a bigger, it begins to dominate your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So you begin to live more in accordance with who and what you are, your authenticity, your God self. And that opens up all the pathways of understanding. If you're here, literally it's because you've been a high level being in the past. And I promise you that you have this. This is why you're in situations when there's something that's like there's something missing, there's something more out there I need to be doing. And that's that pull that your spirit has on you that's saying, yes, listen to yourself. you know, give me expression. Stop expressing, all the things that's from your peers and your parents and all these outside influences that are telling you to think this way and feel this way and to do this. And that's where the mental training comes in. The more you can train the strength of your mind and the flexibility of your mind, the less influenced you are by external things. Now remember that the spiritual realms are the realms of thinking, the realms of feeling, concepts, ideas. These are things that literally beings and intelligences that want to have expression through you. So if you're in a city, I'm like right outside of LA, the city karma there is constantly, you got to be competitive, you got to be materialistic, you have to want this, have a nice car, do this and that, and that's how everybody live their life. Everybody's like this constant need to be materialistic and to kind of show off what you have in that realm and stuff. And like if people who have a really weak mind, that's what they give expression to, and it doesn't bring them happiness. So they'll literally cut their body open and think it's okay when they're naturally beautiful. Oh, I need to go get Botox and fake boobs and all the other stuff when they're naturally beautiful already. But because that external pressure and karma and those beings that are part of that karmic bubble are telling them to do this, they do it because their mind's not strong enough to withstand those forces and that pressure. So the more that you develop mental strength, the less external things influence your thought process and your decision making process, and the more freedom you have, and the more you can literally live within your spirit instead of giving other things and external things expression. Um, so that's the goal. And once you start doing that, this is where your psychic abilities start coming online. This is where, your relationship to yourself, to your environment, to God begins to be on a much deeper, much more profound level because you're literally expressing that higher aspect of yourself. Most people, are projecting their insecurities and these dualistic, delusions and stuff, and that's what they experience above everything else. But the more you can purify that, the more, life becomes infinite because you're building that relationship. Your relationship with nature changes. And I mean, on really, really deep levels, and levels that I literally cannot verbalize. You can just experience it. And then, seeking to do that. So there's tons of ways to do it. If anybody's interested, I teach a whole course. I can go through a couple, meditation processes and things and stuff on here. But if you really want to get the most benefit, I strongly suggest, check out the link in the bio. I have this course. It's like a year-long course, and you have year-long access to it. I do live Zoom meetings and group practices and stuff every weekend. It has hundreds of different videos, practice theory, how to connect your energy, how to develop your psychic abilities, how to purify your chi and master the elements, and how to do a lot of really beautiful, profound things. And that's what I'm here for, and it is self-guided, and it's beautiful. And the more you're dedicated to yourself, the more you treat your path with a sense of sacredness and reverence and fun, the easier everything comes to you. And I mean that. You become a creator. You become a creator in your experience. Like external things will not affect you, and literally it's ascension. You're ascending beyond the influences that control the way you think, act, and feel. Self-mastery is being the master of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, because that's what spirits are. That's what consciousness is. That's what light is. All light carries information. Think about how the internet works. Fiber optic cables, all the information which you have ever seen on your phone and, and on screens and stuff, it travels through light. And you give that light expression. You see it, you decode it with your own spirit and consciousness, and then you give it expression. You see somebody hang gliding, and oh my God, that sounds cool. Now you want to go hang gliding. You're giving that light expression because you touched it. You might not have as much concentration and willpower to say, okay, that's interesting, kind of dangerous, may or may not want to do it. Most people will experience a type of consciousness or light, and then it attaches to them. Oh, I want to do that. It's how advertising works, how public relations works. It's literally, it's a spiritual thing, and you can look at propaganda. Literally ground your emotions, your belief structure in something. It's going to become a bigger part of your life, whether it's real or not. That's how advertising works. It's how the news functions, and most of it's not real. Smoke and mirrors. That's why everything is negative. They don't show you all the good stuff because they can't evoke your emotions by saying, oh, all this beautiful stuff happened today. You should go out and enjoy life. But no, the moment you see, the one negative thing that happened out of the billions of beautiful things that happen, you're going, oh my God, the world is crazy. And that's how you're going to experience it because your emotions are tied to it. It's psychology, you know the whole world is mental, and the more you can understand that, the more control you can have over your overall reality, and the more you can influence it. And now is the perfect time to take advantage of it. So I suggest that you do, in whichever way works for you. Like I have a course, I do retreats and workshops and stuff like that. It may not be for you. Find something that does. Pray. Prayer is one of the most powerful ways to tap into the highest part of your consciousness. A lot of traditions look at prayer as a devotional act where it's a literal state of being. It's your quickest doorway into accessing equanimity. So everything becomes quiet. And the more sacred and reverent you are in your state of prayer, the more that all the different layers of consciousness become still and quiet, and they submit to that higher part of your spirit, that formless substance in which Wallace D. Waddles is talking about in his book. So you have access to that through prayer and invite it up. I pray that, whatever it is, Whatever you tune your mind into, boom, you have direct access to that formless substance in which you can image or imprint an idea, concept, whatever it is you want to experience in your physical life, and you can welcome it up to the surface, depending on the level of mental strength and stillness that you've cultivated. So pray for the right pathways to open up, into your experience, so you can develop yourself and watch how everything else submits to it, and it becomes a part of your physical experience. You know, but if you do want to join the course, check out the link in the bio. And it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. There's hundreds of videos, and on what from what I share, like I said, level one is mastering the elements. Level two is psychic development. Level three is magical invocation. Level four is Kabbalah. So you're understanding the universal language and equalizing with all these different aspects of creation. Um, for today, for this 888 portal, like I said, I do retreats and workshops. I have one coming up next month from the 12th to the 19th in Sedona. And today only, if you sign up for it, if you use the promo code 888, it'll take $888 off of it. Your food and your room is included. And we're going through all the initiation to Hermetic practices, step 1 through step 10, plus another couple dozen practices where you leave a changed person. Your psychic awareness, your intuition, your ability to have more control over your experience and to master yourself will increase tenfold. It's also during the full moon, super moon, lunar eclipse, so super powerful. Um, and it's in one of the most powerful places you could possibly practice. A lot of P's going on, in Sedona, and you'll be with a group of powerful people practicing too. And the skills that you learn and the type of mental, spiritual strength that you gain is something that you can't really get in many places. And I'm really grateful to be able to share that. So, like I said, if you're interested, use the promo code 888. The whole course is included with that too. You get year-long access to all the video libraries, year-long access to, the group Zoom meetings. So we're Yeah, it died on me. So I'm Michaelis. I hope it still sounds good. So if you're interested, check out the link in the bio. For those of you that's interested in coming to the Sagadala trip next year in June, that's also available too with the same code. So take an extra 888 off of that too, which drastically changes the price. So we're doing this trip through California. And like I said, we're starting in LA. We're going to some of the oldest temples in America and then practicing there. And then from there, we're going to the Sequoias. And we're going through a couple different places. How hot is Sedona? It gets up to like 90s or whatever when we go. We're going to be training outside. We're going to be in like a big Airbnb, with enough room for everybody to do their thing and have their own space too. But most of the outside training that we're going to do is either going to be early in the morning or it's going to be later in the evening, and then we're going to be doing practices indoors too. So we're going to be doing anywhere between 4 to 5 hours of practice every single day. And like I said, you'll have the skills, even we're going through all types of different skill development, from learning how to Bishika, healing methods, mental transference methods, invoking the elements, developing fascia, developing samadhi to a very, very high level, vipassana practices, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all that good stuff. And, going through this process and developing different levels of stillness within your mind, you begin to ascend beyond all these different aspects of creation, and the negatives cease to affect you, and the positives you can use to get to where you want to go. So you literally become a creator, and whatever field you're in, whatever profession you're in, you literally be the top level of it. Once you really start developing yourself within the hermetic process and the system that I've created, and I mean that, super duper powerful, really, really beautiful, and then I've had students that are doctors, therapists, Reiki practitioners. Some people are just, they just do their thing. Architect, just, teachers, healers, whatever your path is. It doesn't have to be this amazing, oh my God, I went to university and have a graduate degree or anything like that. Like, your magic, your ability to alchemize things it could be anything. It could be literally anything. But the more you begin to understand this, the greater capacity you have to develop yourself and to become, somebody who has a huge influence on creation, you know. And like I said, I've had, even within the realms of people that are healers and are Reiki masters and practitioners and stuff like that, you'll understand energy and consciousness and the systems so much where you can create your own system. Oh, that's exactly how it works. Remember, Dr. Usui was a Qigong master, and the system of Reiki is it's a form of Qigong in which you don't really have to go through all the Qigong practice. You just use the sigils and certain practices to tune into, the energetic pools that he built and tied rituals to, in which to have access to it. But this gives you complete understanding where you can create your own systems, and that's what it's all about. That's what being a hermeticist is all about, is using the spiritual hierarchy to overcome and to understand, metaphysics, the science and the language of creation, and you become a creator, And my path to service is to be highly influential to highly influential people, and that's why I do what I do, and teach what I teach, and share what I share. And if this resonates with you, if you have any questions, you can message me. Like I said, if you want to come to this workshop, this retreat that we have next month, if you use the promo code 888 today, you'll literally save $888 off of it. And this is for like today only. There's afterpay options or payment plans and stuff like that. If you want to take advantage of it, if you want to come to this our Sagadawa workshop next year, that's also included in the deal too. So you can use promo code 888 and save the money on that too. But that's only available for the 888 portal. So like I said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything, if you want to pick my brain about anything, you can ask me. You can check out the link in the bio, and you can book a one-on-one. And that's available for everybody too. If you use the promo code Quantum, I think that's still how to set up. You'll save like 33% or something if you want to book a one-on-one and pick my brain. I'm an open book about everything that I share and that I teach. My goal is to liberate as many people as possible. So that's available for everybody. And so I'm going to continue this book before I leave. It is 123 right now, 123. So I'm going to continue this last little part. This is what I'm reading through. It is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. It's a very life-changing book and very, very beautiful. Once again, too, before I start on this, for anybody that does sign up for any of the workshops or retreats or anything, that the course is included with that too. So you get year-long access to that, all the video libraries and all the group Zoom meetings and stuff. This has all three of Wallace Wattles books. So it's The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Great, and The Science of Being Well. Very powerful books and really great reads. The book is about 100 and something years old, so I suggest you check it out. All my favorite books are like really old. So what if we already have access to the program? Then you can take advantage of the 888 discount because it's only for today. There's like no other discount on top of that. So that's available for everybody. That's still a lot off. And then, like I said, there's afterpay options. There's like, payment plans and stuff. You can hit me up and then ask any questions if you're interested. But yeah, that's available for anybody today. So I'm going to continue this. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments on this, what a Pizza Cat. Hey, my favorite anime growing up, especially when I was in like elementary school, was Samurai Pizza Cats. And so I can only, imagine that's where your name came from. All right, so continuing. Says, man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane by only uniting himself with formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Um, Very, very important to look at that and understand that. We kind of talked about that, you know. We kind of talked about, holding that sense of gratitude and going through the aspects of seeing the oneness of all. The moment you create this division between you and everything and all the creation and all that is, the more you separate yourself and the more you are doing it by choice. You're going into those lower dualistic realms. But the more you can see the oneness of all, the more you can unify and align with infinite intelligence, right? It's very important to see that. What the heck? It says, why is your resume experience available almost exclusively behind a paywall? That's literally not true. You can Google me, bro. You can Google my government name. You can do all types of other stuff. So nice try. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to continue. Let's see here. So going into gratitude, right, and holding the idea and concept that everything is working in your favor and not separating two powers. This is the way that Florence Scovel Shinn describes it is a perfect representation, and the way I like to look at it, because if you're one with the totality of all, one with God, one with infinite intelligence that permeates and penetrates all things, right, then there cannot be two different powers, right? There's not this good and evil, but if you align yourself to that and you take on that belief, then that's what you're going to experience, because you're dropping yourself down into those lower ways of thinking, those lower ways of interacting with the realms and interacting with the world and your experience. But there's only one power. There's only one, God, essentially, one infinite intelligence that permeates all things, and we're all a part of it. And the type of explanation I typically use is you can look at the self, right? You can look at the different parts of your own consciousness, even in the physical. We have, our organs, we have our different limbs, we have, hey Lisa, Grand Rising to you too. We have bacteria, we have atoms, we have all these separate levels of consciousness that make us who and what we are. But if we didn't have those levels of consciousness, we wouldn't exist. If we didn't have bacteria living on us and within us, and organs that did their own job and had their own level of connection, right, then it wouldn't be us. We wouldn't be able to exist. We're not separate from infinite intelligence in that same way. And that's why I say, as above, so below. It's all literally connected. So the more that you separate yourself from that and say, no, I'm separate from this, I'm not connected to that, or there's good and evil or anything like that, you're literally putting a mental block on, your connection to God, essentially. You're putting the block and sticking to a lower concept, a lower idea, a belief in good and evil, something that's separate from, the totality or the omnipresent infinite intelligence that permeates all things. So that's very important when it comes to looking at the things that you want to experience. So look at that. Think about that. What do you guys think about that? And having gratitude for the things you are experiencing, because remember, even some of the undesirable things are to put you in the right place and right time, right idea, right belief structures, right experience, so you can take advantage of something greater. So always know that everything, seen and unseen is working for your good. So, continuing. So the man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become. He must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision, and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality has been given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless and the creative forces set in motion. So This, say, I don't know if you're still in here, but those 100 hours of tuning your mind to that concept, that idea, and allowing it to just run in the background and be a part of your experience. That's one of the things. Good concentration. If you stay focused on a specific frequency, idea, concept, right, it just becomes a part of your spirit after about 100 hours or so. Just straight, hardcore concentration. So knowing that this is what you're giving expression to, then that's what you're tuning into. You can look at people that you can see what they focus on all the time. It's a big part of their life. You can look at people, even when it comes to music, you can look at, I don't know who the major artists and stuff are now, but back in the day, you can look at the people that listen to Lil Wayne. They literally are emitting Lil Wayne vibes and things like that, because that's what they repeat all the time. They tune into it and they, keep the lingo and slang and stuff like that. They give expression to it. Even though they may not see how it manifests through their thoughts and feelings and actions, but it's there. People that, look at different alpha personalities and pay attention to that, and they ground their emotions into that alpha personality, you can see how that influence has affected them, and they give expression to that. So same concept, same idea, always hold on to your idea and to the point where it becomes a habit, where it just runs into the background. This is who and what I am and what I'm experiencing. Always having a feeling of gratitude and contentment for where you are, who you are, and even where you're going. Because everything that you have right now, that's all you have to get you to where you need to go. So never feel like, oh my God, I don't have enough, or I need this or need that to be successful, because everything you have right now, that's the cards that you have in your hand, and you have to play them. But if you don't take advantage of it, then you're just wasting your own time, and you're going to wonder why you're not having the outcomes that you desire, because you aren't using what you have. You have to be realistic about who and what you are and where you're at, and hold on to the idea, concept of where you're going, and you'll get there. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above, and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. Everything in which you are trying to manifest and bring into your experience, it will come through the hands of others. It will not magically appear at your feet. The concept of magic does not exist in the ways that most people think. This is not Harry Potter. Is there a lot of magic going on? Yes. Can miraculous things happen? Yes. Understanding how things materialize, however, in the ways that are portrayed on television and in movies and cartoons and stuff like that, it's not real. Everything that is real is causal, and everything, even in the realms of magic, follows a causation chain. And it's not until you start working with the Akasha where things are magical and mystical and you cannot explain. But even there's a causation chain for that. Everything below that, it's mechanical in nature. A plus B has to happen to get C. So keep that in mind. And in order for you to receive what you need to receive, the blessings that you're working towards, those channels have to be open. You cannot block yourself from it. You cannot, be somebody that's living a solitary life and expect yourself to live a life of wealth and things like that if you're not connected to other people and things and in some type of path of service and creating for the benefit of others. So just putting that out there, Okay, so the last paragraph is, in order to receive his own, when it shall come to him, man must be active, just talked about that, and this activity can only consist in more than fulfilling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image, and he must do every day all that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life. He must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definitiveness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. Now, this is like really important to look at too, because one of the things that I've been living my life by for a very, very long time is always to give more in real value than what you receive monetarily. And this applies to everything. The universe will bless you tremendously, always. And this doesn't mean that you have to give everything away for dirt cheap and not what, not the value in what you're giving. But let's say the example that he gave in the book is, say you're going to Alaska and you meet, one of the native people there, and you have this beautiful Van Gogh painting that's worth $20,000, and you talk the person into trading the Van Gogh painting for, I don't know, some skins or something. That's not a good value. He can't do nothing with that. He can't resell it. He can't use it, and whatever. But say you give this person a gun, right? Now they can take that gun, they can hunt, they can do everything else. So you're going to receive much more value from that gun than what you receive in return. So having this idea, this concept, this understanding of when you engage with everybody that you're giving more in real value than what you're receiving, there's an accounting system. There's always a balance in the universe, and there are universal accountants, Akashic beings, so to say, primarily through the Saturn sphere that weigh karma. And the more that you give in real value, the more the universe will continue to bless you. So make this a habit, and you will always have success. You will always have successes. And this is why, like, even for what I teach, what I share, I always make sure that I'm giving more in real value than what I ever receive monetarily. And for those that are in the course, has ever been to a workshop, a retreat, or anything like that, and they're actually actively practicing, there's nobody that can tell you that they're not receiving much, much more than I could ever possibly receive monetarily for what I teach and what I share. And it's literally not possible. So this is one of the things I live by. And even going through life and always, giving thoughts of advancement, when you're becoming enlightened and generating more light in your spirit, it's like a flame, a candle to a flame. One candle can light a million other candles and never lose its flame. So always give that thought of advancement. There's plenty of people that are in the negative realms that give thoughts of negativity and pessimism and, oh my God, this crazy stuff, and then they're spreading that. That's just going to create more negativity and negative karma within their experience. So always give the thought of advancement. If you want to inspire somebody or help somebody, in their life, that's how you do it. You can plant that seed of advancement, and you'll see that person grow and evolve just from that seed being planted. So do it within yourself too, and like hold steady, to everything that you do, and when you're working towards your goals, do everything you can in that day to get there, and you'll feel when it's right, especially if you're developing yourself. If you're going through the course, like I said, you're training your intuition, you're training your sensory system, you're training your spirit, and your spirit begins to guide you on a much deeper level than the average person. And even the type of light you begin to radiate will be 10 times, if not 100 times greater than the average person. So your ability to influence creation, your environment, other people, just grows like to a much higher level. So make sure that it's working for you. Make sure that you're you're advancing always, and we talked earlier, it's all about the 888 and wealth and generating that. And the only way that you can do that for the people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum, that live in poverty consciousness and stuff like that, is to give them thoughts of advancement, to inspire them to change the way that they view things and the way that they label things, and what they can see for themselves. So always give that. Always, even if somebody comes to you, oh my God, all this crazy stuff is happening and the world is horrible and all these things that people align themselves to and the way that they view the world, don't engage into it. Hey, maybe you could look at it different. Have you seen the beautiful things that are happening today? Because there's an equal amount, if not more, very, very beautiful things that are happening every day. I don't care where you're at, you know. And then the more you pay attention to those things, the more that begins to be what dominates your experience. You know, that's what begins to dominate your experience. But you have to equalize with that idea and that concept. It takes a second to equalize with it and pay attention to it. And this is one of the most, this is the hardest thing for a lot of people, because they've built this resonance, like a center of gravity of your consciousness. And like I said, if you're used to being pessimistic and seeing the negativity in life, when you start making those changes, the center of gravity of your awareness is going to be grounded more towards that pessimistic stuff and the negative things that you've subscribed to for a very long time, right? But as you begin to develop the habit and raise the frequency of your thoughts and your feelings, your outlooks and advancement, literally the center of gravity of your awareness begins to rise, and your physical experience will begin to reflect that the more you pay attention to it. So, keep that in mind and just start developing powerful habits. Developing the powerful habit to see, the advancement of all things, and to know that everything is working in your favor, and it will be. You'll be able to see it for what it is and use it to your advantage. And I strongly suggest that. One of the first frequencies that I tell people to cultivate and to practice is the frequency of metta, or loving kindness, right? Universal love. And the more that you can cultivate this, and this single aspect becomes a part of your spirit, your entire reality begins to change. You become a universally loving being. You literally begin to emit that and to give that expression through your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. Other people will start to feel it. Like day one, you start working on it, other people can feel it. Day two, animals will feel it. You want to feel like Snow White? I kid you not, go to the park while you're focusing on universal love, and I kid you not, the birds will start coming to you, the squirrels will come up to you, dogs will come up to you. If you're out in the woods, the foxes and the deer will literally be like, what up? So it's a really loving, energy coming from over here, and it becomes a part of your experience. Day three, day four, the entire universe will start to treat you different. But it's because you're changing the center of gravity of where your consciousness is rooted and what you're putting out into the universe. I promise you, it's night and day. So I really suggest that you meditate on that and think about that. What belief structures, what ideas are you holding on to that's keeping you in lower levels of experience, and how you can release those so you can have a higher level of experience. And you have to want it. That's that fire element aspect. You have to have the courage to look beyond it, and the willpower to act upon it, and to break those barriers. But the moment you do it, your life will become, something completely different. And it's very, very beautiful. If you'd like to learn more, if you would like to train with everybody else and join the community, check out the link in the bio, join the Discord. If you would like, we have a very beautiful community of people who are actively practicing. If you would like to join me in Sedona, remember today, if you sign up, if you use the promo code 888, you'll take an extra $888 off of the cost of the retreat. It's the Initiation to Hermetics retreat. And it's September 12th to the 19th. Your room and food is included in that. And that promo code is only going to work for today for the 888 portal. So 888, you save 888. Highly valuable. You also get, year-long access to the video libraries and the group Zoom meetings too. So you have support in developing, how to master the elements, develop equanimity mentally, actually, physically, developing your psychic abilities. Doing all the higher practices, the invocation, Kabbalah, different ways to influence the subconscious mind, how you can raise up in the light and tune your mind into any frequency in all of creation. You're training your intuition so you become your own teacher. And it's beautiful. So what kind of food? We'll have all types of food, so it's not just bound to like one thing. I always check and see, if anybody has any allergies or any specific dietary needs and stuff like that. And I'm going to create a group chat in a couple days, so everybody can communicate too. And I'll be asking all the stuff for all the people coming. So what is it about Sedona? I see a lot of conscious beings gravitate there. Sedona is essentially like a cosmic, akashic, stronghold, where it's been a sacred place for hundreds of thousands of years. All the different tribes and stuff from around the area, they would go there and have their ceremonies and to give birth and stuff, but nobody ever traditionally lived there. But super duper powerful. I've seen my past incarnations there. My very first time in Sedona, this Navajo shaman stopped me, and his spirit animal flew over my head. And he told me all the stuff he's seen, all the different powerful beings walking with me and guiding me and everything else. And I lived in Sedona for a while, and I love it. It's one of my favorite places. So that's why I primarily do my retreats and workshops there, because it's such a powerful place. It's a great place to tap into that non-dual universal consciousness, and even bring in some of your past Akashic skills and awareness and tendencies, and even some of your future tendencies and Akashic diamonds that you've developed. Super duper powerful. Super duper powerful. Sedona Magical changed my life forever. And that's why I do it there. We're training the elements, and we're developing equanimity, we're developing our psychic abilities, and you become a creator. Your intuition goes from here to there. Psychic abilities come online. It's awesome. So how do you gain access to your content / videos? Are you able to gain access by being a subscriber? So you subscribe to, right now we're going through the Master Key system. With that, you get access to level 1, mastering elements. Level 2 is psychic development, and you also get the Master Key library, as well as like the meditation library. And then I do 2 Zoom meetings every weekend on 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday mornings Pacific time. We have an app that you have access to, and you can go through all the different video libraries through there. You can book the Zoom meetings and that you want to be a part of. We do group practices. We're doing our Qigong, different energy exercises, and everything else. There's blog posts. There's a Discord if you check out the link in the bio. But primarily, you're going to be doing it through the app. You can also do it through the website. If you access the video content on the website, then I believe on the website it's a lot easier to search for the keywords, but the easiest way to access it is through the actual app, and you'll get a copy of that, and you'll also get a copy of my book, Alchemy of a Happy Life, too. And like I said, if you're interested, if you would like to sign up, if you use the promo code TikTok, I think it'll take like 25% off of that. But if you're interested in coming through to the retreat, use 888, and it'll take off $888, and you'll get access to the to the course too. It says, what is deja vu? So typically we experience deja vu because when you sleep, your mental and astral matrix thins out. It's the magnetic fluid that binds your spirit to your soul, and your soul to your physical body. So naturally, every time we sleep, it thins out, and you're kind of released to the body, right? And a lot of times, as we're going to sleep or as we're daydreaming, this will happen, and our mind is not bound by time nor space. So you'll find yourself coming into different visions and different things like that. But the problem is, when we go into this theta and delta brainwave state, the part of our mind that remembers is not active. Your brain, the part that remembers, is not active. So you'll have a lot of experiences and stuff like that, and your mind is literally going backwards and forwards in time and giving you experiences. So when you cross some of the things that you experience, there's like a type of mental information, a residue that you kind of come in resonance with. Like, oh, I've been here before, I've seen this, and that happens a lot. When you develop deeper levels of Akasha, it turns into a type of prophetic vision, where you can train that, and literally you can see through time and space, and it begins to happen on a much deeper level. And then ultimately that's what we're developing when we're going through the courses. We're developing a deeper relationship with the Akasha, and our higher spiritual levels of consciousness, and grounding our awareness in that higher aspect. So that begins to dominate our experience, and super duper powerful and beautiful, And like I said, if you're interested, if you'd like to learn more, you can check out the link in the bio. If you want to come to one of the retreats, like I said, use the promo code 888 today. It'll save, $888 off of it. There's payment plans. You can message me. You can book a one-on-one if you would like to pick my brain about anything. If you just want to join the course, use the promo code TikTok. You'll save like 25% off of that, which is like $111, and you get year-long access to it. And that's available for everybody. So I'm about to go enjoy my day. So I hope you guys are doing the same. As always, I hope you all have a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you guys later. And hopefully see you guys in Sedona and on Zoom, okay? Thank you for joining me. Peace.